Do I have everybody's attention now?
Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out at two. Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
I'm trying to think of. I was trying to think of like a. This is great for episode 1 already.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of like a wrestling intro, like what they like on AEW they say, well, you know, it's Wednesday, you know what time it is, but we can't guarantee this will always come out on a Wednesday or whatever day. Raw used to say it's Monday night.
Yeah.
They always start with.
But AEW now have got Mark Henry just going, "It's time."
Oh, we could go with that.
Bruce, yeah, but it's not. That's Bruce. Like more or less Bruce Buffer in it.
Yeah.
UFC, so.
We'll go with that. It's time for, and we should leave all that in.
It's
by
the
the
main
way.
event. Yeah.
In the main event, Kick Out at 2, episode 1.
Yeah.
This is our second attempt
Version
at this.
2, yeah.
Yeah, because
Sadly, the first attempt was like Titus's ring entrance.
yeah, it's gone. It's we don't know really what's happened to it. But I'm kind of glad we did because I think there was some confusion during that podcast, you know. So this one is all about episode 1. We thought we'd do entrances. It's a good way to start. Our entrance, I'm Jay, by the way. This is
I'm PK.
PK, J or JB, whichever you prefer. And we were doing entrances, and I know that when I started with my first choice, you did like a rock eyebrow, like confused. And then when you did your entrances, you went into like the fluff of them all, like the kind of visual elements and everything. Whereas for me, entrances are more kind of almost like about the music. I think, I don't know why or something. So I think when I said mine, you could see you going, like, what? That's not a big entrance at all. And I think I'm kind of glad, like, what do you count as an entrance? Because I've got loads in my head I could say. And this is only season 1. We're going to open probably every season with this. So if we've missed out an entrance, don't worry. But what would you consider, like, a good entrance?
A mixture of both good music and also good pyrotechnics. Oh, no, maybe not pyrotechnics, but something different.
Like an atmosphere.
You know, everyone just walks to the ring. Anyone can just walk to the ring. Where you've got, I don't know, people, you can either have like the Brood and come up through the ring, or lights go out and you appear, you know, smoke and stuff like
but it's all about how you carry yourself as well. Like, I know what you mean. If someone like Meat walks down to the ring, ain't no one really paying attention. It's more about the girls around him.
Yeah.
Whereas if you got someone who's just quite stoic, who's someone who can just walk to the ring, it's not a big entrance. Trying to pull one. Well, my first pick, which we could start with.
Yeah, go for it. You start.
We'll go straight in. I think Taz. This is what I said last time. Taz. I think that's a great entrance because I think his music. I feel like for a while it was like someone be cutting a promo or like saying like I'm here, you know, I'm gonna beat the shit out of Taz, or whoever my next opponent is. The famous one, Kurt Angle, like whoever my next opponent is, bring it on. And as soon as you hear that heartbeat go.
But the thing is, I think that was really well done because of the
promo,
the original promo before
the build up,
the entire build up. So you have that, it, you know, relives that sort of it's in like this entire sort of build up adds to.
Did you have that music in ECW? I've never got. The problem with going back and watching stuff is. With especially on the WWE Network, is they change things because they lose licensing rights.
Yeah.
So, what's his name? Fucking Van Dam. He used to come out to Pantera, didn't he? Walk or something. I think he used to originally come out on something to Pantera or whatever. Yeah. But now you can they overdub it with something.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because again, they don't have the licensing rights. So I don't know what Taz's original music was in ECW.
Yeah.
So sorry for all the hardcore Taz fans out there. But yeah, for me, Taz, WWF, that heartbeat, then that riff coming in, which I love that riff coming down. It comes down like an angry bull.
Have we even introduced the name of the podcast?
Well, I
did Kick Out at 2?
I did say Kick Out at 2.
All right,
I did say Kick Out at 2. To be fair, you can go back when you're editing this.
All right, okay.
If you haven't guessed as well, there's a visual element to this entire podcast because behind us we have this fantastic wallpaper which has been made by Becky, which thank you, Becky, for that. So yeah, if you are listening via audio medium, there is a visual medium of this as well. Where can you go and watch this, by the way?
It'll be on YouTube.
Yeah,
Kick out at 2 podcast.
Right. Okay. Sound. Okay.
Search that. You'll find it.
Right.
Links.
There'll be links on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sound. Yeah. The walking down, the towel over the head. He was not a large man in the land of the giants, the land of the giants, as Vince would say, and he still managed to come across pretty fucking intimidating. And he just, what you said, would walk. I think there was some pyrotechnics. I think when it kicked in, it would go bang like that, and it would come out. But for me, Taz always, and I think also because he had such a short tenure,
and
it left an impact on me.
He had the towel over his head as well.
Yeah.
That was something different. Like I was saying, like it's that little
things, I suppose. Yeah, like a boxer would. And it also gives a bit of mystique. It hides him, and he just come down. But that riff, I fucking love that riff. It's so ace. Like I should learn that on guitar. That's a very satisfying, crunchy riff.
Sound check riff.
Yeah, it's a sound check riff.
Yeah.
Right, so that's my first one, Taz.
Mine is Chris Jericho.
I'm so glad you said that.
Because just the amount of entrances he's had, and in different promotions, he's done different things. Like you've had the whole Y2J thing, again, that was just a phenomenal.
It's one of the biggest pops in history. Is him coming out. He's finally made the move from WCW.
Yeah.
It's just a shame he had to have his hair like Gene Simmons for some odd reason.
But it worked because he was such a hateable character.
Do you think that was part of the heel part?
Oh, definitely. It has to be, yeah. It's like, how can I make everyone irritated? Like, how can I be more irritating to everyone? I'll wear my hair like that and wear an open shirt and look like I'm in a reject from a boy band. It's just like, and then just be an absolute arse. Yeah.
But it was that. That's why we use it for the promo building up to this. We've done our own promos, by the way, and the build up to when this is coming out. We use that countdown.
Yeah.
Which then he still did for ages. Yeah. He did that for ages. I remember being really disappointed when he stopped doing that.
Yeah.
But
because he was just known as Y2J.
Yeah.
For so long.
Even that's what the crowd chanted.
Yeah. Even after he stopped using Y2J and went to Jericho or Chris Jericho, it just
followed.
Everyone just knew him as Y2J.
Well, people were chanting it as soon as like a few months ago on AEW when he came out to the ring. People started shouting Y2J because I think it was the first time he had been in that arena since he'd been in WCW, because it was somewhere that WWF never went.
Yeah.
So he made some reference to that, and everyone started chanting Y2J, and he even had to say to people, "Yeah, that ain't coming back. Calm down."
Yeah.
Because everyone's...
The thing is, though, he's one of these characters and one of these performers or sports entertainers.
Which we talk about in another episode.
He's that creative that he doesn't need to go back to a character.
No.
He just makes a new one. Even in AEW, is somewhat short career in AEW. No, I don't mean short as in...
Compared to the others, you mean?
Like, the length of time he was in WWE. How long he's been in AEW and how many characters he's had so far in AEW.
Yeah.
Like, the company's only been, 3 years?
3 years,
yeah,
about
something.
3 years,
and
4 years maybe.
3-4 different characters.
Yeah. He brought back, what's the one with the makeup of the crossover? Painmaker. So he's had Painmaker, the Demo God.
Yeah.
He's had this one, the sports entertainer.
Yeah, the Jericho
Appreciation Society. Is that the leader of the Inner Circle? I feel like that was kind of separate from Demo. Inner Circle, I don't know, Demo God was...
because then he did the whole Judas thing for the MJF feud, because then it was like...
But this is getting back to entrances, by the way. That's also a fantastic entrance.
That's what I was going to mention. The fact that I love the fact with that, in that feud with MJF, where one of the stipulations were he couldn't have his entrance music.
No.
And everyone just sang that song.
Which they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
It's such a clever thing to go like, oh, we'll make it so you don't get your entrance music and get like your spinach Popeye. This isn't going to work. And then lo and behold, the crowd cheers for him, and the shock as they all sing the words that they sing anyway. It was just, but it elevated the song, but it was genius.
Even though I'm not the biggest Fozzy fan, they're just so cheesy. But for that, it works perfect.
Yeah, and the very satisfying thing of always it cutting to someone in the crowd who is singing it incorrectly.
But yeah, and singing it incorrectly or looking at the phone, singing the lyrics on the phone, or just. But that's what I love about it. No one cares, and it's fun, and it's it's you don't get that as much now.
I'm glad you said Jericho. One of the most satisfying things about Jericho's Y2J entrance is actually if Jerry the King Lawler's on commentary.
Yeah.
Because it would just do the countdown and then stop, and then Jerry the King always would say like, "Oh, I hate this part," and then the fireworks go. But man, fireworks go off all the way through an episode of Raw or SmackDown or pay-per-view. They always go off, and he's got no effect. But when Y2J's go off, they go off, and then he does that that scream he does. I love it.
Yeah.
So okay, that's a good one. We were going to list, by the way, 5 each, but when we did it on the last episode, the episode went on for like nearly 2 hours, so we're just going to we've got 5 each in our head. Where we go, we'll see. Whether we've listed all 5, don't know, and if we don't, again, season 2, we'll add them onto that.
I think we went really into tangents on 2 or 3 of them, and...
Well, we might do again still.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to go with what you're saying, add a bit of like theatre to it, as it were, I was going to say it's a weird one because I'm not a big fan of him as a wrestler, but it has caught my attention more often than recently than other people's. Sean Spears has a very interesting entrance. Do you know which one I'm talking about? The German.
No. Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah. Have you never seen? Because he doesn't wrestle much in AEW.
The last time I seen him was with CM Punk.
Right. Yeah. But he had that same entrance. His entrance it's something like akin to Flashdance. So it all goes dark and it's dead silent, and the music begins to play, and a spotlight goes on, and he's sat on the chair like that, side profile with the light behind him, so you just see a silhouette.
Yeah.
And it kind of builds up. And then it just like slowly looks down. It's like a proper it's very good. And then the music kicks in. He stands up the chair and like goes like that, but puffs his chest down and walks down. But that whole thing is quite compared to everyone else in AEW. That's the most theatrical thing that really people are doing. And this is compared to people like Miro and Darby Allin, Sting. Even when they come out, they kind of come out as them and get it over with. He spends quite a bit of time on his entrance, considering it's again Sean Spears.
And like his entrance usually lasts longer than his in-ring match.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Especially that CM Punk match, it was like,
that was such a good. That needed to happen to make up for the Wardlow match.
Yeah, but like, it was one of them. It's like, right, he's just definitely a voice. Then he's not even a wrestler anymore.
I think it was perfect. I think it was the right thing to do. But that's a digression. So you were digressing. But I just like that. And there's a few modern wrestlers that are doing that. There was another one I was going to mention, but his name's escaped me. But I'm liking that it's kind of coming back and it's kind of being a bit more over the top. Although is that what you mean kind of thing when you like?
Yeah, I mean, it's like.
Because we just said at the beginning.
It's not even how good the wrestlers are. Like, this is not on my list, but one that's just popped into my head that I'll quickly mention. Border Villains.
Who?
It was Aiden English and Simon Gosh.
I don't know this.
And it was sort of like, kind of like Strongmen, like with the curly mustache.
What promotion was this?
WWE.
Oh, is this like in like the past 15 years or something?
Yeah, like sort of.
This is where you get a clue audience as to where my knowledge kind of goes a little bit funny.
This is where sort of NXT sort of
kicks in.
Like, they weren't. See, I wasn't really watching NXT at the time, but it was around that period where a lot of the NXT people were a lot more popular. But I think they did get pushed onto the main roster. But basically, these two sort of like strongmen sort of did just come out like that. Either side.
I'm just picturing like bully.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Right, okay.
Like, with sort of like the spandex type pants.
Okay.
The curly mustache, and they'd stand either side, and it'd go black and white, and they'd have a black and white entrance.
Yes.
I'll show you.
And what was the music like? What was the music like?
Like as you'd imagine it.
Like the.
No, not as more sort of like a old villain style. I don't know.
Oh, okay, no, I can.
It's hard to explain.
Like the man twirling his mustache as the he ties the damsel to the railway.
Yeah, that's the whole sort of
yeah. I can picture.
I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I think someone comes out with one of the old sort of what they used as a like a cone with a handle.
A trumpet?
No, like a cone with a handle where they used to shout.
Oh, a megaphone.
Well, it's not.
It is a megaphone.
Well, yeah,
we just added
analog
batteries. The analog megaphone. Wow.
Not doing very good for talking in terms of
analog megaphone could easily be Radiohead's next album title.
Yeah.
You're
number 2.
I'm number 2, right. So we're going to go to territory which pre-recording this explained a lot as well. So on the last episode I mentioned this person, another one, and you kind of, again, I saw your reaction, I was like, meh. But as we've just realised, it isn't really your era and not really that you're a fan of. But I'm going to go with Macho Man. Like, I love his as soon as that bum, 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 bum. And I think after retrospectively talking about it, I want to add that the reason that is good because it always got a pop. Yeah. It always got that. And I think it's almost like why people like AEW now. It's about the audience interaction. It's quite a very different experience. Like at AEW, it's amazing it survived over COVID because the audience interaction was gone, and it's like part and parcel of the fucking experience. Every time Macho Man's music comes on, be him a heel or a babyface, the crowd go wild.
I think with Macho Man, he could cut one hell of a promo as well.
That's it.
And the entire character, it fits. It's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's when they give someone an entrance that's too big for not a character that matches.
I get what you mean, which there was a lot of back then. There was a lot of back then. But what I thought of after rewatching back on him a bit as well to prep for this, what is weird about him is, I mean, he's a big guy, and the first thing he does, whenever he tries to get the attention or get people, is he bends down a little, does the little knees down, which, by the way, the Young Bucks are great at imitating.
Yeah.
But isn't it such an odd thing to do when you think about it? Oh, I know what'll make me bigger, going lower and doing that. But it works.
But it's almost that sort of like.
That's what I mean. I'm wondering if it is a bit vaudevillian.
I don't know. It's you don't.
But as he does it, as he walks down, he's so distinct and he's so large in life, and he's got everything coming off, and he looks like Roger Daltrey from The Who with these mad tassels coming off of him, and it's almost you feel like he's coming out and going. It's a bit like the cat from Red Dwarf. Every time he comes out, it's like, did they just make an outfit just for this 10-minute match?
Yeah. Which
looks like it's cost Vince half his budget for the month, and these glasses and everything, and it's amazing, and the music, and it's something about the experience. And I'm very upset when I watch it that I will never get that experience, apart from maybe if I go see who uses his music now. Is it Jay Lethal?
I think so, yeah.
Jay Lethal uses it to begin, because every time it happens on AEW, I go, oh, and I have to calm myself down and go, no, he's dead. He's not coming back. No.
Because it would be really creepy if he did come out.
We've not reached that level.
Stretch it out.
How long do you think it would be before we got there? And I don't mean like zombies or anything like that, but you know how we do like holograms for like Coachella? Could we not? And like ABBA are about to do a tour, which it's all the holograms. And think about that's going to be like 2 hours. Would it be that hard to hologram a 15-minute match between two dead opponents? But could you wrestle a hologram?
I'm going straight up zombie.
You just want it just to be zombie first, then hologram.
Well, we've got zombie Paul Bearer there, so
You think Mr. Pringle himself is going to be the first one?
Definitely. I'm more for zombies than I am for holograms. So
okay.
I don't know if Macho Man's cremated, because we might have a bit of an issue there. If you've got a Pritt stick in about a couple of days,
I don't know if I want. What would you want Macho Man to be, cremated or buried? Because bear in mind, I feel like his casket would look like something like a Kiss casket, but like on mad colours. But I feel like if he was cremated, when he opened up what would already be like an amazing thing, it would just look like fucking glitter.
Just the shades on top.
Yeah, yeah.
Open it up, it's just like...
Every time you open it up, oh yeah.
Nope, he didn't rise to the top. Never mind.
Oh, boo. So yeah, my second one is Macho Man, and there's a reason that is my ringtone on my phone, because it just captures my imagination and everything. Yeah. That's a bit of that one for me.
Well, my ringtone's Dan Housen's theme.
Oh, the new one? Yeah,
it's
dude.
Brilliant. It's like Scooby-Doo's theme.
Yeah, it's somewhere between Scooby-Doo and I was trying to think. Is it the Munsters? It was a bit Munstersy.
Yeah.
It was perfect. It was bang on.
Yeah,
it really worked.
Any tune with a theremin in.
Yes.
I am all over it.
You know, Eve wants to. You'll hear the words Eve a lot from me. She's my partner. Eve has always wanted a theremin. And the only reason we don't have a theremin is there is no room for the theremin in the house right now. But it will be something that we do get. So I'll be able to, hopefully, one day in the future, wow you with a performance on a theremin. Which I hope helps. Maybe add it to
one going for sale. It wasn't brand new, but it was barely touched.
No! I was waiting to see where that gets. Oh, I feel like you brought that entire Danhausen intro just for that joke.
No, funny enough, Graham told me that joke. One of our friends, Graham.
Oh, it's the way you tell it. If you'd said it to me, I wouldn't have laughed.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Graham.
Yeah. Looking on my list, I'm gonna.
Yeah, you're next.
Stay in that time frame. I put something down completely. I've spelled it incorrectly, so I put Ultimate Warrior.
Hold on,
Ultimate Warrior.
What have you wrote?
I think I wrote Warrior.
What have you? Yeah, he's wrote. Warrior, as in like somewhat like, but that would be you.
That would be me.
From anxiety, the Ultimate Warrior. What a shit wrestler that would be. Sorry, go on. Yeah, the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, Ultimate Warrior. Just because of the fact he runs down to the ring like a 7-year-old's bicycle, just like just really angry, and just if I saw him running towards me wearing that and the entire face paint, I'd be terrified. Like, what is this guy gonna do to me dressed like that?
He's unusually fast for a man his size. Yeah. I think that's what's also kind of like him show. If you read about Warrior, he's a bit of a show off. He was a bit of a ego. I almost feel half of his running down to it was not only one, I want to get this out of the way. Yeah. But two, him like going, look how fast I can run, which is almost like
what workout's going to end soon. So, yeah.
But it's almost like what a 7-year-old do. Well, you don't want to see how fast I can run? I can run faster than you. Look, and run like that. Yeah, and then that shaking of the ropes is his move. Yeah, that's up there with knife edge chop off Flair going woo. If you shake the ropes, it's a Warrior nod at all times. Yeah. No, he's but it's the pop, that music kicks in, and people weren't running down.
No, that's what I mean, because like you had such grand entrances like Macho Man and stuff like that literally could take 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or some of the earlier matches where you had the mini ring that came to the ring.
Well, remember when he was King Macho, and you just bring him down, and that would take a while because they're all trying to fucking move him.
Yeah.
Which I've heard already that was what do they call it? They had a nickname for it in the locker room, the cart or the carriage. And apparently it weighed enough on its own without both Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth on it. So, yeah, apparently that weighed a fucking ton at all times. So that's why it took so long. But, yeah, Warrior is, as much as I don't like him as a wrestler or a person, it is a very, very, very good entrance.
It's just one of them that sticks in your head. And you're just like...
And it stole a limelight from Hulk, which was quite the thing to do if you could do that at the time, which is again why Vince noticed and was like, oh, I might have Hulk Part 2 here. Hulk at the time was doing, I still haven't seen footage of this. I've only heard about it recently. So apparently at the time, Hulk would walk down, and this is all his idea, in a motorcycle helmet, and he used to carry a gas canister. Like a gas canister, petrol, we call it a petrol canister. And that was his thing. And he knocked a few people out with the helmet as well. I don't remember this, do you?
No.
No, the Hulk helmet. I had a picture of a fist on it. I don't know if that helps.
No, none of this.
Isn't it weird? I've never seen a picture of it, but I just learnt the other day. I
Yeah.
read it somewhere. It was like, at the time, Hulk was doing this. I was like, really? Why did
the thing with Hulk Hogan, a lot of his history is edited for some reason.
Oh, yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah.
I did learn recently that apparently they used to Photoshop on some of the early like pay-per-view posters and matches coming up. When he was beginning to go bald, Vince was like, well, he's he's the Hulk. He can't be going bald. Yeah. Give him her. So then they would edit, which it was a lot. It's not like Photoshop now. It was a cost experience. Vince didn't know this. So apparently at the end of the first quarter, after editing all these photos to show him to have more hair, Vince got his bill for like $10,000, which back then is quite a bit of money. And he just took one look at the bill and went, Hulk is bald now. Like, it is not worth the money.
Are bald.
Yeah. Which he fucking is. And he embraced it quite well, to be fair.
Yeah. A lot of characters have done. Like, they've just hit that sort of... It must either be WWE schedule or I don't know what it is, because AEW, everyone's got a nice set of hair who has already got hair. He's not already previously bald or whatever. But WWE, Baron Corbin, had to shave his head, didn't he?
Yeah.
And now is he Happy Corbin?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, he was King Corbin. It's just like, this guy's got a very long contract and we don't know what to do with him, so we'll just give him several different names. So
I'm trying about Hardcore Holly. Yeah. He was always going, or as Jericho called him, Bald Call Holly. He was always going bald slowly, but they didn't pay for him. He just dyed his hair blonde and did it that short.
Well, I was going to say, because of the bleach blonde, you can't really tell. Yeah.
So is it me now?
Yes, it is.
So I'm going to go with something. I'm going to mention it because you touched on it, and then when I talked about this episode, because like I said, this is take 2. I want to give a shout out to Funboy. You'll know who that is. He's one of the biggest wrestling fans I've ever met out there. And he said you have to give this a mention, and you've mentioned it, and I think he's right. The Brood. The Brood's entrance is, regardless of which Brood you're talking about, with Eddie Piston or the Hardy with Gangrel, either way with Gangrel, it was just like totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different. And it was so over the top at the time as well that it even made like, it was over the top but worked, which I don't know if some people are being over the top and didn't work. Like Undertaker was almost too over the top at the time for me. But it stood out a mile, and you always knew that when he had the game and he created your character, that was always one that you kind of hovered over and was like, I'll have him come out in frames that. But it was just so, I don't know. It was really original because prior to that, house shows were quite. Well, have you ever watched like Raw 1995 era? We're still talking like you're walking out of a door of a club and walking along the floor. And it's like very early WCW shows.
Yeah.
It doesn't really get ever to that point. I don't know if WCW ever really gets to that point with a Titantron. Does it? In my head, I'm thinking of like even when they did 84 weeks and they beat Raw, but I feel like they never had a Titantron size entrance unless it was a pay-per-view. Am I misremembering that?
I didn't watch any.
You never watched old WCW back on the day?
It's not that wasn't a pay-per-view.
Right.
I didn't really watch weekly.
It was on Channel 5, I think.
Yeah.
Channel 4.
I think I was too much of a WWF fanboy to sort of
do it.
I was just like, I'm not watching that because it's not it, I just really, oh god, should have watched it when I could.
I feel like that the reason it hadn't been done, looking back, is because the opportunity it just wasn't there. You couldn't have done it. So I feel like Gangrel or whomever the creative team was with him was just like, why are we not using this stage to full capacity? Why couldn't we have him rise up? I can almost see like Vince going like, why doesn't he come up through the stage? And I'm going, there's totally loads of logistical reasons. Why we can't do that? And then we go, well, why doesn't he lower down from the rafters? Because that's how we lost Owen. And then go like, oh, you know what? You could rise up from the fucking side of the stage, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and it's almost like he could make it really awkward. Like he'd come up and have to wait till, right? Can I move now? Okay, and go. But he does this whole thing where he laughs the whole time, like, and the sunglasses on, you can't see his eyes, so you don't know. It's almost like he's doing the what's the name of the blind musician?
Stevie Wonder?
He's doing a bit Stevie Wonder, he's going with Stevie Wonder, going like ha ha ha, doing that, and then he's just waiting for it to click, and obviously when it clicks, he then goes, right, let's go, and then they walk off, and then it's that cool thing where he drinks it. They never say it's blood. They're like, he's drinking the red liquid. They never said it was blood.
Yeah.
And then he'd drink it, but Edge and Christian or Matt Hardy and Jeff Woods hang over him.
You can't say, like, drink the Kool-Aid either, so it's like, that's like another really bad reference.
Well, what was good about Gangrel was at the time there was a lot of, like, apparently vampire occultism in America, like, you know how there was a satanic panic, but there was actually people like, oh yeah, we like to live like vampires, do it like that. So the idea behind Gangrel at the time was he's not a vampire, he's a guy who thinks he's a vampire, and totally. I think it works. I think because you never believed he was a vampire, even it did. Exactly. But you never like went, oh, this guy's meant to be a vampire. They're trying to make me think he's a vampire. So it clearly worked.
It's just Gangrel. Like,
you believed he just thinks he's a vampire.
Yeah.
So there you go, mission accomplished. Which I think is a very hard thing to do without it coming off as like totally the other way and being like, oh, does he want me to think he's a vampire? Jesus, no, it's not coming off as that. Or this guy doesn't
Luckily, it was before Twilight.
Yeah.
So, all, vampires were still kind of cool then.
90s vampire movies were a bit more...
like you said, you had the Satanic Panic. And
Lost Boys.
Like yeah, and then also you had Misfits in WCW for a bit.
Yeah.
With Vampiro.
Yeah, that was very weird.
Yeah.
That was very weird. That's almost so weird that I kind of believed I made that up.
Yeah, I had to go back. I was listening to a Misfits podcast, and I was like, oh, so that did happen. Right. And then went back and then watched all that.
Yeah,
so.
I watched something about how it did happen and how Jerry and Vampiro did not always get along, apparently.
No. But Jerry Only's not the sort of...
easiest person to get along with.
Oh, any of original Misfits are easy to...
Have you seen, by the way, I don't know how it works with the Misfits. So the new poster for the Misfits, we are definitely digressing, but this has to be mentioned. So the new poster for the Misfits says, like, the original Misfits with Jerry Only, the bassist, featuring original drummer, Chud. No, it's not Dr. Chud isn't. No, whoever the original drummer is, sorry, I can't remember your name. And also featuring Doyle on guitar. And I'm like, so the original lineup, but because they're so funny about money and branding and trademarking, Doyle also has made it so he doesn't want to be known as being part of the Misfits. So he's now known as part of the original Misfits. It's the original Misfits lineup featuring Doyle.
Yeah.
Even though if he wasn't in it, they couldn't call it that.
Yeah.
It's fucking bizarre.
That's the joys of musicians and money.
I feel like wrestlers do it though. I feel like there's probably
the artist formerly known as Doyle.
Yeah. Or when you had fucking Vince go like, oh, you know what? We still need to use a Diesel and a Razor Ramon, so no one will notice the difference if we just bring these guys out. So yeah, that was mine. The Brood. I thought it was a very good one, but the music was very creepy as well.
Well, this is kind of linked in pretty well. Brothers of Destruction.
Now, can you clarify this a bit better? Because on the last episode, you couldn't remember the Brothers of Destruction music.
And I still can't. I can't remember.
And you know why? Do you know why?
Why?
Well, I decided to research on this.
Yeah.
It seems like every time the Brothers of Destruction came together, which it would... Let's be honest, the whole point of Brothers of Destruction was like, oh my god, it's Kane and Undertaker, and after a while it's like, we can't make it get too tired because it's more interesting when these guys are apart. Yeah. Oh my god, they're falling apart, they've had a fight.
Yeah.
They would break up and come back together so many times. Each time they had different music.
Yeah.
So that's why you can't remember.
Excellent.
So that is why, so for you it's definitely more about the vibe and the entrance.
It's more the fact that I wanted to get two awesome wrestlers for one.
No.
And, well, pretty much to mention that you knew when Kane was wrestling
because
the ring posts were taped with
What?
the pyros. So like for some bizarre reason, when you're like 10 or 11 and you see that, you go, I know Kane's wrestling. No one else knows that Kane's wrestling, but I know Kane's wrestling. So at some point, Kane's gonna come out.
No, it's funny you say this because we've talked about that. I was watching an episode of Raw.
Yeah.
For those who, of course, this is episode 1. I've been rewatching since COVID started. Raw from 1993. I'm up to May 2000. I'm watching SmackDowns now as well. It's very interesting. I was watching an episode and we've got Undertaker and The Rock are fighting over who's going to be the number 1 contender for Triple H or going to take his belt. And whilst this is happening, there are little vignettes in between where like Pat Patterson is walking along with some coffee. As he goes past the cupboard door opens and he's pulled in. You can't even see the hand, but he's pulled in.
Yeah.
And he's beating up Road Dogg. Here's someone in another cupboard and gets beaten up like, is it you? And Vince is like, it's you, Undertaker. You're the one doing this. Is your kind of sound. Undertaker says no. It's like Rock, then it's you, and it's no. And I was going and I saw those things tied up and it's like, oh, it's Kane.
Yeah.
It's Kane. Oh my God, this is Kane coming back. He's been gone for a while. But then, totally to throw me off, Too Cool win the tag team championship. So while they're doing their dance to celebrate, off each corner, loads of fireworks coming up.
Oh no.
So I was like,
oh,
it's not Kane. Oh, I've totally played myself. Who the hell is it?
Yeah.
So this match is going on. Undertaker and Rock are fighting off all the DX and the McMahon Helmsley faction. And all of a sudden, boom, fire goes off. Kane comes out. I was like, I've been fucking double bluffed. It was Kane. I was so annoyed. And of course, at the end, he holds up the championship and then just that swings his arms down and they go off. I was like, of course you have more than one firework on a corner post. Oh, what a fool. There's me doubting the tech of 2000 and the pyrotechnic abilities of the WWE.
And just all of Undertaker's entrances. Just.
Well, no, you can't do that. Are you doing Brothers of Destruction or all of Undertaker's entrances? We're doing Brothers of Destruction.
Yeah, Brothers of Destruction, yeah.
They were intimidating.
Yeah.
It was. Today, now, hold on, is this you? Have you done any research? You haven't, have you?
I just thought I'd try
You like...
I'll just go for Kane.
No, because they both had to, up until he became the American Badass.
Yeah. Which
I don't feel like they did team up for a short while before he became the Badass. Because Undertaker would turn lights on, like it would be dark, and he would do his hand movement, turn lights on. Whereas Kane was the opposite; he would move his hands down and cause fire. Did they ever mix that in their entrances? I can't remember. It's definitely one of over the American Badass years because he would just come out and walked out. But I don't think they ever did. You would think you could marry that up somehow, where he puts his arms, they both put their arms up, and as he does his down, the lights come on and the fire goes up.
They're just both there going like that.
Let's give it on. What, trying to land planes onto the ring? I know, I'm just saying that because X-Pac and Kane, when they were tag team, they married it up perfectly. He would go bam, bam, bam with his socket, and then Kane would finish it with the flames. So I just think it's mad that they never thought of. But then I suppose it's getting these 2 6'7" guys. So do you want to do some choreography?
Oh yeah, your brothers, by the way.
Yeah.
You're not.
By the way, who didn't think they were brothers? That was one of the most. That was the most convincing kayfabe.
I was heartbroken, even though I knew for some bizarre reason that Undertaker's name was Mark Galloway. And
did you know who Kane was? I didn't know who Kane was until like the internet really took off. Like, he was a mystery to me.
And then when I found out his first name was Glenn. No offense to anyone called Glenn, but it just...
If Danzig is listening, I'm so sorry. We just talked about the Misfits badly as well, and now we're going to bring this up.
That's exactly... Still the same. Still,
Glenn?
Yeah.
Right.
But I just can't take it.
I just think they're the most convincing set of brothers since Frazier. I honestly always thought Niles and Frazier were definitely brothers in real life as well. No, different actors completely.
No,
not related at all.
I never thought we'd get a Frazier reference in, but I'm very happy with that.
I feel like I want to now cosplay Niles and Frazier as Kane and Undertaker in some way.
Or just even if it's an episode where they've accidentally walked into the ring. You know the Fraser episode where he's on the kids' TV show.
I vaguely remember this. Yes, and he doesn't know how he. Yeah.
So he's dating the presenter of this kids' TV show, and she's really upset and stuff like that. So he goes to comfort her, and then they sort of start getting it on this sort of prop bed.
Yes.
Not realizing that
Yes.
it's part of the kids' show, and then it raises
up.
Yeah.
Because he says the line, that's from the later seasons, when she says something like, do you know what it's like to play the same character for 10 years on screen or something?
Yeah.
Which is a total shot at the fact he's been playing it for...
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And on Cheers as well.
Yeah, yes, and yeah. This is great wrestling talk, by the way.
Oh, this is brilliant, yeah. But, going back to that would be brilliant. Like, we need another episode of wrestling from... multiverse style.
The multiverse wrestling.
Of wrestling. Yeah.
Where Fraser is actually...
Yeah.
Where Fraser is Undertaker in the ring with, I don't know, who's the equivalent of Shawn Michaels in this. Everybody loves Raymond. Because that was at the time a big hit. And then all of a sudden, the music goes, the flames go up, and the everything's go, that's gotta be Niles!
I'll quickly throw in as well, I don't know if you've seen it, a guy called Jim will Paint It.
Yes.
With Legion of Doom doing the Doomsday device to Richie Neddy from Bottom.
I've not seen that one.
That is the best picture I've ever seen, and I'd love to see.
We should maybe get in touch.
Imagine them as an intro. Sad, them as an entrance would be the best entrance ever. It'd just be them twatting each other with hands.
I feel like it'd be somewhere along the lines of the Bushwhackers in a weird way. That kind of like.
Yeah, but more British and more more sort of. I don't think it would go over as well with American TV, but in UK. Anyway, I really do digress.
We have digressed.
Yeah.
Whose turn was it? Where did we get lost there? It was definitely mine because you brought up
that went from Brothers of Destruction.
Brothers of Destruction.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about the man whose name I can never pronounce. Because my brain just goes completely... I'm not dyslexic, but my brain goes dyslexic whenever I try. Braniel Danielson. Braniel Daniel Brian... Red Dragon. No, he's not Red Dragon. American Dragon.
Oh, God.
American Dragon, Braniel Danielson. He's just... When that...
So take 3 of the podcast. Welcome to...
His
music. Check out 25.
Is genius.
Yeah.
Because that... you'll see a bit of a theme with mine because again, this isn't something else I'm going to mention.
Like classical music.
I do seem to like classical music when you pick really good pieces, and I think that is one of them where it's just bizarre. No one had picked it before.
Is your last one Triple H with Ode to Joy?
No, no. Oh, that's the worst. Well, we'll get to that in another episode. Yeah. But it just as soon as you'll see that. It's just instant, like everyone's ears pick up, and it's up there with the whole you just know, and then everyone pops. It's like here he comes.
I'll put it out there. I don't like the AEW version at all, where it just goes
into like hip hop.
Yeah, it's not the sort of the cheesy rock version for WWE was perfect.
Yeah.
Like, almost Guitar Hero-esque Dragon Force style. Brilliant.
And then it helps because everyone over it's going, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's just really fitting because it's also like, because he was such an underdog in WWE and he's not considered that in AEW. Now it's more like a threat. Like, it comes, it's well more threatening. But WWE, it was like, here comes the small little plane that actually might completely fuck you up right now.
Well, yeah, like he was an amazing wrestler in sort of like Ring of Honor and stuff like that, and actual in-ring wrestler, not I don't like using the term entertainer, but he wasn't that much of a personality, but his in-ring ability was like incredible. Like the really good match against Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, and his name evades me and I can't remember what it is.
Is this still Ring of Honor?
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
He's had loads. Claudio, that's it. Claudio. I think that's his name.
Right.
But anyway, if you search it on for Ring of Honor, those two, it's just a great match. It's just, a good technical match.
Well, hopefully one day we'll be I don't know when it's going to happen. So it might be in the future, and you're listening to this going, yeah, you can do it. But AEW are looking into making an AEW network, like how WWE have a network, because now they've got. I think they were worried about not having enough content because they only had like a few years of footage.
Yeah.
But now they bought Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
So now they're going to put all the Ring of Honor stuff on there. That's just immediately just giving them a whole welly full of shit. So we might be able to, at the time of listening to this,
and the whole New Japan.
Because
I'm really not up on any New Japan whatsoever. Like,
I'm not.
The closest I am is following Will Ospreay, but that's from like I saw him.
I find it very interesting, New Japan wrestling. I've just not physically got the time.
Yeah.
That's one thing I would just say. I just can't find the fucking time to watch everything that I want to watch in this day and age because there's too much stuff out there. Yeah. So thank you for watching this if you are, because there's clearly other stuff out there you could be watching because we've made it underlined.
Yeah.
But yeah, Daniel Danielson, great entrance and stands out a mile. Always does.
Even with CM Punk, where CM Punk couldn't get his name right when he was announcing it. I'm just gonna call him American Dragon. just straight up called him like Daniel Bryan like 3 times.
Yeah.
Went, no, Bryan Dan. I'm just gonna call him American Dragon. Yeah, you know what I mean. And then just sort of played it off with like, I don't care.
Easy to do.
Right. Next on my list, the Wyatt family.
Now, I am actually familiar with these because I watched a little 45-minute documentary about the main guy. What's he called?
Bray Wyatt,
yeah.
Was, I can't think of his NXT name.
Oh, no, I can't remember that. I have no idea. But like that character he comes up with is like, it's so over the top for at the time as well. Yeah. And they were worried it wouldn't get over, it wouldn't work. But it became the most popular.
It was like the next evolution of, to me, it was very sort of Undertaker Ministry style, but not the same, like a different sort of.
I feel people have been kind of taken from it as well. Like the House of Black definitely have a little feel about that at the moment, where you got 3 of them, 1 main guy, and the 2 just like coming out from the shadows. Not saying that House of Black aren't doing anything original or stealing, but I feel like House of Black maybe couldn't be doing exactly the mad theatrics that they're doing without the Wyatt family making it okay to do it.
I think House of Black are more Shield, but not in a bad way, just sort of like that sort of.
Well, the Shield, that theatric, the Shield were, again, I'm not so familiar with them, but they just came out the crowd and they beat the shit out of people wearing bomber jackets. Well, sorry, bulletproof jackets, not bomber jackets.
Yeah, no,
that would have just looked like a bunch of boys.
Yeah. No, but like, I know what you mean, but in terms of sort of like, I don't know, they just had the Wyatt family just had a different vibe. I think that's because of the entire sort of the build up and the vignettes that they used, and it was more, unhinged psychopath. 10
points if you can remember the unhinged psychopath that he probably based it off of. There was a wrestler that came about in 1995 who had very similar vignettes where he would wear like this Hawaiian shirt.
Was it Nails?
No. It's around that time.
Yeah.
He wore a Hawaiian shirt. He had almost like Hulk Hogan hair.
It was William Regal.
No, it was not. He's a real.
He was a man's man. It was.
Where he wore all this, and he said like it basically he based it on cult leaders that had happened in the late 70s, who like ended up killing people or
Did he base it on Jim Jones?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this wrestler did, and he only had a small run because like they were built. He had quite a few vignettes, and then his matches would come, and he would pretend to be nice and like even offer his hands out for a handshake. Yeah. And then at some point in the match, he would just get nasty and do this like finisher, like which was a submission that looked cruel. And the comment, Vince would be like, "Oh my God, he needs to be taken off of him. He's too cruel." And then he'd get up and just be like, wave to everyone, like it's all fine.
Oh, that's really cool.
Right. I can't remember his fucking name. I bet your Funboy is screaming at it at the fucking. Yeah. But he only did about like I only saw about 7 matches on Raw before they had to pull him because he got a spine injury. He got a back injury, and I don't know if he then he was off WWE for that long that they just got rid of him, or so I'll remember it for next time, or you probably know out there. But yeah, look him up. He definitely, I feel, the Wyatt family took some inspo from him, because it was very similar, but not the same.
Yeah, but thinking about it now, like, I've just said the cult leader account.
Oh, Jim Jones.
Jim Jones, yeah, that sort of the, white pants, Hawaiian shirt, like that weird sort of Mexican drug dealer look.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this guy's crazy.
Cholo.
Yeah. Well, no, because he wore sort of like cowboy boots.
Oh, yeah.
White pants.
Yeah.
And the shirt, and then the sort of vest underneath. And he did look intimidating. And he had the rocking chair and the gas lamp and stuff like that.
And then the two people behind him were one was Brody Lee.
Who
was called
Luke Harper.
And
then Eric, I don't know if his actual name's Redbeard or if that was the AEW
name for
the week that he just popped out. But yeah, Eric Rowan, that was his name, the WWE. And Daniel Bryan did join the Wyatt family.
Oh yeah, he was for a short period of time.
That would have worked. It worked perfectly.
Why did they turn that? Was because he was just so over that it didn't work with him being in that gang. Why did he stop it? He was only in it for a short tenure, wasn't he?
Yeah. It just kind of. It was when Vince was just like, oh, this is Ace, we'll do this. Oh, no, I can't bother. They just started storylines and dropped them so fast.
I'm sure it was like a cage match. He turns and then they beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, it just was like, oh.
I think he was really over. If I had to guess, I would say they were going, he's too over. You can't make him fall fiddle in a faction right now. You need to. This guy could go on his own.
But like, say Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt as a tag team, like two tag teams, would have been awesome.
I mean, I'm saying that by the way, but there is also WWE also tried to squash him as a solo guy as well. So, no, that's a one that I need to get more familiar with because I don't know what was the entrance, by the way. What was it? Why was it? So was it proper theatrical?
Yeah, well, yeah, the lights went out and everyone got out the phone and put the lights on the phone.
Right.
So it just looked like fireflies because like the whole vignettes were like swampy sort of.
Right. Okay.
Weird little cabin, and they were just like in this like dark cabin with a rocking chair and just a light.
I'm picturing like Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, that kind of vibe. And it's just like we're here, and the light would go out, and then this music would come on, and it was just like this sort of weird, sort of chilled out song, and it's like a really cool. I can't think of who sings it, but it's. Yeah, you're
not good at recalling music, are you?
I'm not today. Normally I am, but yeah, it's it doesn't really build up. It just sort of like it's just quite a mellow song for what it is. You know, some other bands like start off and then like build up. This doesn't. It just sort of it's just a dead chilled out song.
Well, I think this should go. Do we have time? We can get away with it, I think. I want to go. I would talk about someone else, but I'll save that for another one. I've seen someone on your list, and I think that goes into it really nicely, and I'll happily talk about that. Mankind.
Yeah.
Now, his entrance originally is exactly what you just stated. It carries on that piece of music that doesn't really go anywhere in the sense that it doesn't go into like this big it's just this constant music, and then when he would finish a match it would be that really nice that creepy lullaby music as well, and he would just like hug that thing and
but that's why I chose Mankind, because of his multiple entrances. But his original music was that sort of. It was dead sad, and he was just like, oh no, like you felt it give you that emotion of like this guy's really messed up.
Yeah.
You know, when you saw him, he'd come out and he was ripping his hair out, and he was just talking to him.
And the way he spoke as well. I mean, this is when Foley would just go for him, he'd be like, ah! Really like broken, but he wasn't trying to sound tough, like I'm gonna get you, brother.
It was the opposite. He sounded crazy. Like if you put someone who had very bad mental health issues in a ring.
Yeah.
And started fighting them.
It was actually.
Because even the sounds he still made, like when he was wrestling.
It would be like it was like Yeah.
Like that sort of, that guttural sort of.
And he would make those like pig squeals.
Yeah.
But it would be more believable and scary than compared to when oh my god, what are they called? The two pig farmers. The two
Godwins?
The Godwins.
Yeah.
The Godwins would also do like squeal noises, but it'd be comedic when they did it. But he did squeal noises and it was scary.
Yeah.
Because this guy's unhinged.
I've got a weird thing for psychopaths by the sound of it.
No, yeah. And then when he started to be a bit more comedic, it didn't fit anymore. And I remember when they changed his music. They changed it. He won the title.
Yeah.
He came out to the classic skid crash, which Razor Ramon wasn't using. They were like, we'll use the same skid crash from Razor Ramon's music and then just put in that. And he even comes out saying like the first thing after he's WWF champion and everyone cheers.
All he did was speed up his walk slightly. He still walks like that.
But then he even says on the mic, he's like, they gave me some new music finally, because I think it was like that didn't suit me for what I was doing.
Yeah.
Like for the past few months, I'm not that mankind anymore. I'm corporate, happy, funny mankind.
Yeah, shirt and tie and sweatpants, and that's still brilliant.
Do we go into? I mean, we've got a few minutes here. Yeah. Is other entrances? We should talk a little bit Foley and entrances like
Cactus Jack.
You've got a Cactus Jack top on.
Yeah, so Cactus Jack coming to the ring with a shopping trolley full of weapons. Best thing I've ever seen. I just, I'd not seen much of, because I was that young, I'd not seen any of Cactus Jack's death matches or anything like that. No. So I was, still, WWE was. They didn't really show any violence to that extent.
No.
I wasn't aware of his matches then. Dude love, funniest entrance ever, funniest music.
Yeah, no, it is one of the best ones. Just because it's so it's just one of the weirdest characters. It shouldn't work, but because everyone loves Foley.
Because it's him, because he did it.
Yeah,
and it's genuine. And you have all this footage of him doing it when he was
a kid.
Yeah, sort of late teens. It's endearing. It's that's it's who he actually wanted to be.
It's quite funny how as a dude he holds back the most.
Yeah.
It's like the weakest of his personality. So it's not even like it's almost respectful of wrestlers. I'm gonna completely fuck about now.
Yeah.
I'm also probably not gonna win this match because I'm too busy fucking about. Bear in mind though, then I could turn at any point to Mankind or Foley or Cactus Jack, and then I will win the match or I'll go in harder. But it was just like there were genuinely different personalities. I think that's what was going back to Jericho. It's like he just changes the image, changes this is what you're dealing with now.
Yeah.
It's with Foley. It was different. It was just like they were genuine.
It was genuine Three Faces of Foley. You know what I mean? It was. I can't deal that. The best thing ever was that vignette where it was like, I'm not the guy for this match. How about this guy?
Isn't it so Mankind's like going, they didn't do that really thing, which I'm not going to be able to nail. But Dude Love goes, I can't do it, baby. And if you can't do it, are you thinking what I'm thinking? And then Man goes, I think of what you're thinking, and I think you're thinking, and I'm thinking that you. And he nails it. And then Cactus just comes out, and the crowd goes nuts, and Triple H is panicking.
Yeah.
And then there's power drives.
And Triple H sells it so well as well.
Yeah.
He is genuinely scared because he knows.
And it's great because it's finally Cactus Jack finally made it to WWF.
Yeah.
Which is the best one. Again, another great pop, which. According to when you read the autobiography, he never thought he'd be able to do.
Yeah.
Because Vince kept calling him okay, Mike, in the interview. It was actually it's Mick, whatever, Mike.
Yeah.
So that's not 5 each. You've done 5, I've done 4.
That was my fifth one, but we've got time.
Do you reckon?
Yeah,
right. Yeah, we'll finish with. I'll go with sticking with the same theme then, as I've already alluded to, classical music, Ric Flair. There's something about, I know there's controversy with the man at the moment due to an episode of Dark Side of the Ring, but you cannot completely take away the fact that one of the greatest like possibly the greatest wrestler of all time, in both in-ring ability, personality, promo. But the entrance is, again, just classical music and that note, and you know it's and it's so, again, obvious. Why has no one before picked that music? And it's just a very slow walk. Him like basically, and he has his arms out, not as in like, hello everyone. It's more like me.
Yeah.
Me. Everyone look at me right now. I am amazing. And it's believable. With the music, it's completely believable. And one of the hottest heels. I don't think I've ever watched him be a babyface. I just feel he's so over that when he's come out against another heel, then everyone's like, well, I'm picking him. Because he's at least, like, the coolest heel. Like, I feel like when they did the thing where Vince, kayfabe, Rick buys half the shares of WWF, and he comes out, Vince is like one of the hottest heels. Mr. McMahon is one of the greatest heels of all time.
Yeah.
And then out comes Ric Flair, and everyone just immediately goes, I'm on Rick's side. Like, just in a second.
Yeah.
He's been at WCW for like 10 years.
Yeah.
He could turn his back on WWF. He's old, he's everything wrong with the business right now. Why WCW has failed as far as WWF fans are concerned. He just steps through that with that music. Everyone fucking loses their shit because they want a piece of Rick. They want to be back Rick, and that's why it's like it's a shame what's happened with everything recently. Whether what's happened was true or not, I don't guess we'll ever know. But that entrance is always like. If I'm watching old matches, very old matches, and Ric Flair's on that, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see that. Because again, like you said, old wrestlers just kind of like all fluff and no substance. They have a song that isn't really that great. They act like they're amazing, and what's happening right now is amazing, but it's really not that great, and not as much of a spectacle as it could be. But I think they all thought they were as good as Ric Flair, and they really weren't. Rick knew how good he was and captured it. But yeah, he was my first in my head pick when we were picking like entrances. My brain immediately went, well, Ric Flair's on the list. Yeah. I just can't help it. Sorry if you don't like Ric Flair out there. I totally get it if you don't. I totally get it if you do. Definitely get it if you do. But you can't deny the entrance at the end of the day.
Well, with that, I think it's time to stop the damn match.
It's time to stop the damn match. So this has been a Kick Out at 2 podcast, episode 1. Thank you for listening. PK mostly does most of this. Can you give us some deets, PK, on where to like follow us on socials and emails and stuff like that?
Yeah, so if you search on either Instagram, TikTok, maybe one of them, and Gmail, just Kick Out at 2 podcast. And you'll find us there. So if you want to email us, it's kickout2podcast@gmail.com, or you can just search for us on the socials.
Yeah, just email us because we're going to do this in seasons, episodically. Don't know how many episodes a season will be yet. I don't know if we'll ever tie ourselves down to a specific amount. But if you think we've missed out anyone, which we definitely have, obviously, in this one, email us, let us know, and we can consider it for next one. If you want to hear specific topics, let us know. Again, email us. If you just want to tell us how awesome we are as well, that's always a compliment. And don't forget, it's a brand new podcast. Rate, review, subscribe. Those horrible 3 words everyone says, but if you can actually give us 5 stars. Dave Meltzer just doesn't have to be the only guy who gives out 5 stars. We can have, if you want to give us 5 stars, do that as well. Share it with your wrestling friends. Go, hey, there's this new fucking sick podcast out where they don't just blow smoke up the asses of wrestlers. They actually talk just their opinions. No facts here, boys and girls. Just opinions. And yeah, just get us noticed. So yeah, thanks for listening. I've been Jay.
I've been PK.
And it's time to stop the damn match.